Hey, what up, people? This is Hero, and today we have a free-for-all on Skidrow. Now, this is another request for you guys, and it was a request by Wasp Hammer, and he asked me to do a match with a F2000 with the Model 1887 secondary, with my perk set up as Scavenger, Stopping Power, and Ninja. And so, well, yeah, here we go. Well, basically, it seems to me that in my time playing Call of Duty, it's always one gun which outshines the others. And more often than not, really, it tends to be a submachine gun. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, why is he talking about submachine guns when he's using a assault rifle, but yeah, just bear with me on this one. Well, basically, on Call of Duty 4, it was either the MP5 or the P90, with a high rate of fire, big magazine size, and decent stopping power. They really were the only things that could possibly stand up to the M16. In World at War, it was obviously the MP40, and usually paired up with Juggernaut because even without stopping power, it would kill people in 2 bullets, and it was very accurate even when fired from the hip. And so, someone with Juggernaut and that thing was pretty much unstoppable at close combat until they came up against someone else using it, for example, which never really took that long because everyone used it, because it was a complete pain in the ass. But yeah, here we go. In Modern Warfare 2, it's the UMP which has taken this sort of role. It has a decent rate of fire, good range, good magazine size, and a shitload of stopping power. It basically does blur the line between assault rifles and machine guns. And the same is true with the F2000. Of course, it's only the opposite way around, because the F2000 has a higher rate of fire than any other assault rifle. It also has bigger bullets than the ACR and M4, which are based on high rate of fire. But it's obviously one of the lesser used guns. In fact, people barely ever use it, because as it's labelled as an assault rifle, people tend to use it like the other assault rifles, and because of the Mars sight on it, instead of the red dot, people also sort of liken it to the TAR-21, and that is a big mistake, because it is nothing like the TAR-21. Now, in actual real life, the F2000 was a sort of development of the P90, and you can sort of see a very, very slight likeness, I guess, in the styling, but you need to bear that in mind. It was a development of a submachine gun. And so, well, yeah, basically, because as I just talked about the light assault rifles, the ACR and the M4, you have the heavy assault rifles, such as the Scar Heavy, the TAR-21, the AK-47, and the burst ones, which are also heavy, the FAMAS and M16, and the semi-automatic FAL, and they're classed as heavy because of the size of the bullet, the caliber. It is a big bullet, and so it has a shitload of stopping power, and it takes people down very quickly, and so it does have a lot of recoil. But obviously that means that they can just limit the rate of fire, and it's not so much an issue. But the medium assault rifles, I guess, are sort of placed right in between them to try and get the best of both worlds. The rate of fire of the light machine guns, but the stopping power of the heavy machine guns. Now, to do this, they have to have a sort of medium caliber bullet, obviously. But it seems though in this game, it's just done the complete opposite. It's got both the drawbacks of either weapon class, because, well, basically, you have the very, very, very high rate of fire, and partner that with a higher caliber bullet, you're going to have a hell of a lot of recoil, and that's basically what this entire gun is known for, just immense amounts of recoil. And although the stopping power is there, and you've got to believe me on this one, there is actual stopping power in this gun, even though you'd never know just using it normally, because it does sort of come across as a complete pea shooter. But it does kill people quickly if you're accurate with it. But to do that, you need to use it with the silencer, because for some bizarre reason, unlike any other gun, the silencer reduces the recoil on this gun. But then again, it's the F2000, it's hardly sort of, conventional. But either way, yeah, the silencer, for some bizarre reason, takes off nearly all of the recoil, which means you can be accurate with it, which means a high rate of fire kicks in, and you kick people's asses, basically. Because without it, you try and be accurate with it because of the very high rate of fire. You end up shooting at someone like 10 feet in front of you, and by the time you've run out of ammo, you're aiming 20 feet above the guy's head, and he's sitting there confused, thinking, what the hell are you doing? He turns around and completely blasts you to pieces with his UMP as you stand there reloading, because it's also a very slow reload for this gun. And so it's not really surprising that no one uses it. However, that's why we need to stop thinking of it as an assault rifle, because, I mean, I guess the gun you can most liken it to is the MP5K. It has a high rate of fire and a relatively small magazine, but it has the recoil that sort of matches this thing. And so, in my sort of thoughts, like, if people can absolutely whoop ass with the MP5K, surely if you use the F2000 in the same way, you can sort of pull it off. And it does. Because, well, basically, because of the sort of medium caliber bullets but the very high rate of fire, at close range, when you're not missing, you will annihilate people. It's even more powerful than UMP. And you have to bear that in mind, obviously. You have to get to close combat with it. And so, even with partnered with steady aim as your third perk, if you hip fire this thing, where accuracy really isn't that much of an issue or taken into account, you can also completely wipe people out. But because of the very high rate of fire, you're going to burn through your ammo pretty quickly, so you've got to bear that in mind. The slow recoil, no, the slow reload, sorry, I guess you can sort of counteract with the sleight of hand perk, but then again you'll be running out of ammo very quickly using that, so you might want to go with the one-man army or possibly the scavenger perk I'd recommend, because with one-man army, with this gun, you shoot people, you run out of ammo, you need to reload, instead of being able to switch to your secondary, which the Scavenger obviously would grant you. And as for your secondary perk, it's got to be stopping power, it really has. I mean, for me, I really can't use this gun with anything other than stopping power. The only time I'd suggest anything different is in a hardcore match, which I just don't play. Cold-blooded, I guess, is the given on that one, because stopping power really isn't an issue. For getting the 75 kills, though, with this thing, to get the silencer, well, yeah, I'm guessing the only time I would ever suggest this, but you might need to use the Danger Close one-man army in a noob tube and really piss people off. But I'm guessing if that's what it takes for people to actually use this gun and give it a shot, well, then I guess I'm all for it, really. To put a bit of variety back in the game, I guess. As far as tactics are concerned, I'm guessing you're going to be using it in things such as free-for-all and search and destroy, where it's really sort of one-on-one confrontations, because if you're up against a team with this thing, it really doesn't excel against multiple targets, because you burn through the ammo very quickly, and because of the sort of slow reload time, you're going to be wanting to come across one or two people max. If you come across a big group of people, you might be in trouble. Well, I guess unless you have a secondary that you can switch to quite quickly and use effectively. And due to using steady aim, as I mentioned earlier, you might be able to use the akimbo weapons, such as akimbo pistols or akimbo machine pistols, especially, quite effectively. I really wouldn't recommend the models. So I think I'm running out of time now, so I'm going to have to wrap this one up. Hipfire Hero and stuff. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you use the gun. Hope you enjoy it. And yeah, 30 kills, 6 deaths. Not too much input from my kill streak rewards, and only a few deaths, mainly due to campers and spawn systems. But either way, peace out.